specifically in this lesson we have to learn about the reproduction in plants. First of all, the simple methods of reproduction in lower plants, and then the gamete formation, how it happens. All those things we have to learn in the reproduction in higher plants. Basically, you know the definition of reproduction, right?
मैम
Reproduction
आवाज
is the
ब्रेक होते
आता अभी आ रहा है
मध्ये मध्ये ब्रेक होतोय.
range. So basically, reproduction is a metabolic process in which young ones are produced, and these young ones they look like their parents. This is the basic definition of reproduction. Can you hear me properly now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is the basic definition of reproduction. Now we know the importance of reproduction. That is, it helps in continuation of the species. That is the main uh, aim of the reproduction process, right?
Yes.
Now, reproduction, it is of two types: sexual reproduction and sexual
मैम
reproduction.
आवाज
Yes.
ब्रेक होते.
फिर भी ब्रेक हो रहा है.
हाँ.
एक मिनट. अभी आ रहा है.
हाँ.
So there are two categories in which the process of reproduction is divided, that is asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Now in asexual reproduction only single parent is involved, there is no gamete formation. ठीक है, अभी आ रहा है क्लियर आवाज?
Yes.
Now in asexual reproduction, what I said, only single parent is involved. There is no involvement of gametes, that is male gamete or female gamete, ऐसे कुछ भी involve नहीं होता है. And that is why the progeny which is formed after asexual reproduction is genetically identical to the parent. Okay,
Yes.
it is genetically identical as well as it is morphologically identical to the parent. This is also called as cloning. Clone, or the progeny is called as clone, and the process can also be called as cloning.
मैम
Basically,
आवाज ब्रेक लैग होता है.
फिर भी हो रहा है ऐसे. 1 minute.
हाँ.
Whatever progeny is formed after asexual reproduction, it is called as clone because it is exactly morphologically and genetically similar to that of the parent cell or a parent plant, whatever it is. ठीक है? So these are called as clones, and the process can be called as the process of cloning, right? Now there are different methods of asexual reproduction. Are you getting me? समझ में आ रहा है?
Yes.
There are different process of asexual reproduction. Basically, you have learned these different processes in your, I think, 10th standard. And even in 11 there was a little bit of this fragmentation वगैरह, right? So the first method of
Yes.
asexual reproduction is the reproduction by the process of fragmentation. Fragmentation का meaning होता है to break into small pieces, and each piece can be called as the fragment, and this fragment develops into a new individual. This process is called as fragmentation. समझ में आ रहा है? Whatever the
Yes, ma'am.
multicellular lower plants जो होते हैं, they break into small pieces, and each piece can be called as fragment, and this fragment it develops into a new individual. For example, we have studied about the asexual reproduction or fragmentation in Spirogyra. That is the exact or the example which you know, reproduction in Spirogyra. So Spirogyra पता है ना कैसा रिबन शेप्ड होता है, एंड जब वो डिफरेंट पीसेस में कट हो जाएगा तो एवरी पीस विल डेवलप इनटू अ न्यू इंडिविजुअल. This is called
Yes.
as fragmentation process, right? Now the
yes,
next method of asexual reproduction is budding. We have studied budding in hydra, right?
yes,
सिमिलरली यहाँ पर जो आपको एग्जाम्पल दिया है दैट इज जो बडिंग होता है इट इज कॉमनली और जो जब फेवरेबल कंडीशंस होते हैं इन दोज फेवरेबल कंडीशंस फंगस or yeast is a kind of fungus. It shows asexual reproduction by budding. Small buds appear on the body of the mature yeast or adult yeast, and these buds they separate from that parent yeast and they develop into the new individuals. Right? This is budding process. We have clearly studied budding in hydra. Hydra का तो पता होगा ना?
yes,
याद है? So same is the process of budding. Now budding जो होता है it happens during the favorable conditions यानी food availability प्रॉपर है, टेम्परेचर प्रॉपर है, सब कुछ अच्छा है, सब कंडीशंस फेवरेबल होते हैं एट दैट टाइम द मोड ऑफ असेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन इन ईस्ट इज बडिंग. ठीक है. एंड जब अनफेवरेबल कंडीशंस होते हैं एट दैट टाइम लोअर प्लांट्स reproduce asexually by spore formation. ठीक है. The spores are only one type of spores. These are motile spores. Motile, they can move. Now with the help of wind or with the help of water it depends ki which kind of that plant is, whether it is aquatic वगैरह वगैरह इस पर डिपेंड करेगा किस तरीके की मोटिलिटी वो स्पोर्स शो करेंगे. सो बेसिकली द मेन डिफरेंस इज बडिंग इज शोन ड्यूरिंग फेवरेबल कंडीशंस whereas spore formation is shown during unfavorable condition. Now these spores as they are motile they show flagellas for motility and these spores are specifically called as zoospores. ठीक है. These spores when the conditions become favorable they develop into new individuals. इसका मतलब क्या है जब अनफेवरेबल कंडीशंस होते हैं तब जू स्पोर्स फॉर्म होते हैं एंड जब फेवरेबल कंडीशंस आएंगे एट दैट टाइम ओनली द स्पोर्स will germinate and give rise to the new individuals. समझ में आ रहा है? हेलो, अजून सुद्धा